Well, here we are. It's official. They did it. I got to be honest. Part of me thought they were just going to try to push this off and keep, delaying things until close to the end of the year when they can actually do a lot of bad press and make it seem like the president did something wrong, or they were going to keep trying to grab some things out of thin air and create a problem for the president. But nope, they did it. They went to vote yesterday, and they passed both articles of impeachment, which kind of surprises me. I mean, they still decide, even though the court was kind of ruling against one of the articles, they still did it, which I thought was kind of different. But what do you expect, right? They know they don't have a chance in the election that's coming up. So what do? Cheat. That's what they do. Just like always. So I have a few things that I wanted to show you guys. There were some parts of the impeachment process, which I was trying to watch the whole thing, but it was just getting a little bit irritated at some points. I was getting a little irritated. So the hilarious part, or the thing that the one thing I thought was really interesting, was where Nancy Pelosi shushed some of her colleagues. Now, I got to admit, I was a little confused at first. Then I seen what they were trying to do. It was pretty obvious, and it's just interesting. So now, the next day, of course, we all know what their plan is. It's ridiculous. It's one hell of a Hail Mary, but it's also pretty strange and pretty, I guess, terrifying, because they have just become the party of, well, how do I say it? I guess the easiest and best way to say it is they've just become the party of by any means necessary. It's kind of horrible. They've become the far radical left that we've tried to avoid, or that 1% of people, or whatever percentage it is. It seems like they're becoming that party. It's pretty bad. If this is actually happening, it's terrifying, and I definitely won't support it. Not with my votes, not with my money. It just kind of reminds me, I left because I seen a lot of this crazy stuff happening, back in California, and I left California and I left the party because it was just getting too bad. It was crazy. A lot of it was irrational, lying, a lot of cheating, a lot of the ballots. I know a lot of people, a lot of parties do this, but a lot of the ballots, the way they were written, is just horrible and dishonest. So let's take a look here. House votes to impeach Trump. It's officially done. As I was kind of reading through some of my social media yesterday, I thought it was pretty hilarious, because a lot of these people who were cheering this on and wanting this and screaming about impeachment, they have no idea how it works. They actually thought, the president was going to be impeached yesterday and kicked out of the office that night. It's hilarious. A lot of these people have no idea what they're doing, or what they're voting for, or how things work. It's very sad. House Democrats took a historic step Wednesday of impeaching President Trump. A momentous move that will send long-lasting reverberations throughout the Capitol and the country, both already fiercely divided over the. It's fiercely divided. It's one thing I've been noticing, and I'm glad to see some of the conservatives actually standing up. Whether it's on social media or in person doing rallies, or crashing these speeches. Like my last video that I showed you, I'm really glad to see some of these conservatives, come forward and express their opinion. It's good to see you guys fight. Let's take a look here. The two articles which charge Trump with abusing power in his dealings with Ukraine and obstructing Congress in their investigation, with those actions passed almost exclusively among party lines, and they were. It was actually there were a few Democrats that voted like Tulsi Gabbard. Thanks, Tulsi, who didn't really vote for it. She just voted present. And there were, in one article, I believe there were 2 Democrats that voted no. And in the second article, there were 3 Democrats that voted no. For a second, they actually had on the screen where 1 Republican voted yes for impeachment. And I guess it was a mistake because they corrected it towards the end. But, that for a while there, I thought, somebody is going to get voted out or get primaried. Because, the party wouldn't have that. Lawmakers voted 230 to 197 on resolution accusing Trump of abusing his power, with all Republicans opposed, and only 2 Democrats, Representative Collin and Jefferson, crossing the aisles in distinct Republican. That's pretty interesting. So now we have names here, which is great. I'm sure that they are in Trump districts, and so that's why they did it. It'll be interesting to see if they get primaried by the Democratic Party, which is what their threat was. Again, just dishonesty. They were forcing Democrats or the Democratic congressmen to actually vote the way they wanted. That's not how the system works. That's not how it was supposed to work. They're supposed to represent their constituents or their people, not the party. This is just an example of party over the people or party over the U.S. And it's just disgusting. It's power. It's all they want is power. If they voted no for this, and we see something coming down the pipeline, where they try to punish these folks, it's going to be interesting. So Tulsi Gabbard from Hawaii, Democratic presidential, voted present. I love that. That's great. I totally get it. I know she's voting, or she's running for president here, and so she has to kind of play it safe. I really believe she would have voted no for it if it wasn't for her running. So the second article alleging obstruction passed along near identical lines, with lawmakers voting 229 to 198, approving it, and Gabbard voting present. Republicans were, again, unanimous in the rejecting. Now here's a funny thing. I'm sure you guys heard this a million times. Pelosi said she wouldn't do it unless she had Republican support. I guess she never got it at all. You guys watched the hearings, and it's just one big joke. Republicans were again unanimous in rejecting the measure, while the third Democrat, Representative Jared Gold from Maine, joined Peterson and Van Drew in opposition. Good for him. That was the third person. I'm glad we have names. The vote marked this. Now, again, this is like the third time, I believe, that a president was officially impeached. I don't see him being removed, obviously. I actually have been watching some of the Republicans, and I believe there was one article that I read where they were saying that they can't decide whether they want to fight this and make this investigation and actually really crush the party, the Democratic Party, or they want to brush it off, just vote no and move forward. They've been doing that for a long time, just brushing it off and not doing anything about it, not fighting back. And I really hope they fight back this time, because if they don't, I'll be really disappointed. This has gone too far. I think the Democratic Party has actually opened up some doors that they really, really do not or did not want to open. It's going to get kind of ugly, I think. I don't think we're going to get to the point where, like in other countries, we see fights in the actual House. I don't know, maybe, who knows? That would be interesting. I'd actually pay to watch that. However, they are dividing the country. They are dividing everything, and it's getting kind of crazy. Uh, I've never seen it like this. I've never seen it this bad. So it'll be interesting to watch, see what happens in the next few years. Who knows? 2020, I'm sure, is going to go to Trump. Maybe 2024 will go to Kanye. I'm kidding. Well, I don't know. He says he's gonna run. Who knows, right? He has changed a lot. You know, so this also reminds me that the Democratic, Party. It was hilarious because I'm watching this whole thing play out on social media as it's happening, and I'm watching people's reactions. And again, like I said, they were thinking that I guess somebody was going to walk into the White House, grab the president and his stuff, and toss him out of the door. No, it doesn't work like that. A lot of these people voting for this stuff, or a lot of these people on social media, don't even know how this works. It's ridiculous. So as you see, my screen just moved around. My system's acting a little funny today. Yeah, again, I updated my system, and the new Windows. I'm sorry, the new Mac system is just not working well with my program, so it's just getting kind of annoying. However, so. So again, this whole thing is just another way of cheating. You know, I've watched them cheat over and over again. I've asked some people that I know about some things that the Democratic Party has done, and a lot of times they think it's actually the Republican Party who has actually done a lot of these things, a lot of these cheating methods. So for one, I asked somebody back in California about. Voting, the black vote, and how they try to suppress that. And, he thought actually it was the Republicans that did that. And I said, no, they actually wanted to vote and wanted to vote Republican because the Republicans were trying to give them their vote. And he just did not believe me. And I said, do your research, look it up, and we could talk after that. And he refused. Of course, he never brought it back up, and he refuses to talk about it because who knows, maybe he's done the homework and he realized he was wrong, but won't admit it. Or just like every other Democrat that I've run into, not every, but a lot, they just refuse to do the research themselves. They want the television to tell them what is happening, how it's working. So anyway, let's take a look at a few other things here. Pelosi's reaction to Democrats clapping after the impeachment goes viral. Now, this was hilarious. This is the part I was talking about. So apparently the New York Post, gave her a name, and we'll look at that name a little later. But did you guys see that reaction? That's where I started kind of putting things together. They're trying their best. They know they messed up, and they're trying their best to fix it. They're trying to please their constituents, or trying to please that far left party, or they're trying to please that far left group. At the same time, you can't have it all. You really can't. You can't please Twitter. Regardless, they're just going to find something wrong with it. They don't care about the Democratic Party. All they care about is taking down the Democratic Party and changing it. So don't know what she's doing. But got a little video here. Let's take a look in case you guys missed it.
Article 1 is adopted.
Oh, did you see that? That look. Let's take a look at that again.
Article 1 is adopted.
You tell me, is that somebody drunk with power? Who does that kind of stuff, right? You just can't trust them. It's pretty sad. So anyhow, let me know what you guys think about that. Also, I'm not saying to do this, but if you decide to write Pelosi and let her know what you think, she does have the website, pelosi.house.gov. You scroll down to the bottom, And you could easily contact her, let her know what you think. I will be doing it. Hopefully you guys can let her know what you actually think about it. So here it is. The New York Post labeled House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat, California, of course, the swamp mistress. Wow. Swamp mistress. I don't know. Is it harsh? Is it too much? I don't know. You guys let me know what you guys think. And here we have another thing that really bothered me. Lindsey Graham says not sending articles of impeachment to the Senate is constitutional extortion. I agree 100%. So it turns out Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats, this is what their plan was all along. Setting up that impeachment, letting it glide or sit there, and just creating bad press for the president. Lindsey Graham says not sending articles of impeachment to the Senate is a constitutional extortion. I agree. So what's going to happen? I really hope that the Senate just takes it. We do have a tweet from the president. So he tweeted, "The Senate shall set the time and place of the trial. If the do-nothing Democrats decide, in their great wisdom, not to show up, they will lose by default." So I really hope they do that. If Nancy Pelosi refuses to send them to the Senate, I really hope he does actually do that, or the Senate does do that. We also have this kind of chilling post that he did. In reality, they're not after me. They're after you. I'm just in the way. It's a little bit chilling and right. They're after us. It's a little scary. They're after the power. They're after, it's getting bad. It's getting real bad. I also have one more that I wanted to go over, then I'll end this. I know it's going long. Pelosi feels her phony impeachment hoax is so pathetic, she is afraid to present it to the Senate, which can set a date and put the whole scam into default if they refuse to show up. The do-nothings are so bad for our country. Well, there we have it. It looks like the fight's not over. CNN, I'm sure, is loving this because I'm sure they've been hurting for ratings. It's been bad. Anyways, thanks for watching. And I hope it gets a little better. I hope the Senate really does take this fight and actually fight it. And not like they typically do, just hide it, tuck it under the rug, and move forward. I think we have to fight it. They have to fight it. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not 100% sure on what the plan is. I mean, are they waiting to see if in 2020 they get majority in the Senate and then they'll try to do it? I mean, that would make no sense, right? I mean, he'd already be removed if they were to win, or I guess not. I guess he could be in office and they could actually take the Senate and then impeach him. I think it's dirty. I think it's low. I wish we were above this, but I guess we are not. Do you think because of this, Republicans will take the House, the Senate, and the presidency? Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Oh, and also, I will be working on a Patreon, so as soon as I can get that together, I will put the link down below. I really appreciate some support. I do need a mic, as you guys can see. I have an older mic that I used a long time ago. So it'd be nice to actually have a real mic. And thanks again, and we'll see you soon.